Close lift gate. I don't get that. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ali. This is Sonic the Ionic, and this is Sonic the Ionic channel. And I'm glad you're joining me. In this week's video, I actually want to talk about things I hate about this vehicle. Now, I've done this video before. You can find it here. So this is kind of a part two. So there's 5 more things I don't like about the vehicle that I think changes can be made. Um, and I've said a lot about this vehicle in this channel, that I love a lot of things about this vehicle. And I think it's super advanced, but there's always room for improvement. And here's 5 ways Hyundai can take care of that. First thing I'm going to talk about is the auto lock feature. So I think this is actually my biggest gripe with Hyundai and in this vehicle, is the fact that it does not auto lock. And so I'll show you what I mean by that. So the car is locked right now, it's off. I'm going to walk up to it. It's going to do a great job at opening the doors for me before I even touch the key, so I don't need to do that. But I'll show you what the actual problem is. So as I approach the vehicle, it's going to pop open as my doors go in. Perfect, right? No concerns, everything's good. But the problem is, when I'm walking away, this auto lock feature should not be that much of a problem to install. So, most cars, some cars I know have the auto lock feature. For example, Tesla does that. And, yeah, I think that's just a simple feature. I think this should be able to be locked without me needing to close it up using a key. So, this vehicle has a few physical buttons, a few manual buttons, as well as some digital buttons at the bottom here. And for example, I know a few Ioniq owners are, peeved that there's no, manual or physical button for like certain functions, such as the climate button, that like, an actual button, not just this digital button here. But that's not as much of a concern to me. But I just want to mention that, kind of an honorable mention, because I know some people feel strongly about that. What I feel strongly about is the fact that there's buttons over here, and all these here are physical buttons, so they're all um, kind of buttons that you actually need to press. So you have your typical functions here, your functions to kind of switch the positions of the side mirror, and you lower your windows and stuff. This is my gripe. You can see right now it's lit in orange, and that means it's engaged. So this is a child lock button. And my problem with this is that the positioning of this child lock button, and I've heard this as well from other Ionic 5 owners, the position of this button, for some reason, uh, has it always engaged. So what I mean by that is, I didn't mean to, kind of engage this button, and so orange means it's engaged, and then if you hear that click, it means it's not engaged. So the child lock, whoever's in the back of the vehicle is able to open the car whenever, as long as the car is stopped. Um, the car is on, but it's not in drive mode. It's currently in park mode, right? So I don't know what I'm not sure what it kind of causes this, but every time I'm driving, I don't know if it's my elbow, my forearm, or my hand, but this button is always engaged. It always ends up being engaged even when I disengage it. And it always ends up being such a kind of an annoying moment when someone's in the back or people are in the back trying to leave, and they're like, "Can you let me out because I'm child locked in?" It's a frustration when have never actually, like, this is the first time I'm actually physically engaging it. It's always for some reason on. If you know why, let me know in the comments. But I've heard from other users as well that this is a problem. And so yeah, hopefully it's something that's fixable. So Hyundai is great with voice command in the vehicle. With this vehicle, you can do a bunch of things while just remaining seated in your driver's seat. So for example, I'm going to ask it to open the charging port door, and I do that by kind of long pressing this button over here, this voice command button. I don't have to long press it, you just press it once. Open charging door. That's great. The door is opening up. I love that. I'm also, and then you can see that it's here. Uh, and I've done a lot about certain buttons in this vehicle and what the buttons do, and kind of discover things. So you can check out that video here. But the point being, I can also ask the vehicle to kind of close the door. So I'm gonna long press that button, or just press the button. Close charging door. And that's awesome. That's great. I love that. But the problem is, this is not true for all the functions, all the commands. So here, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna ask it to open the trunk. Open trunk. Great, right? Trunk is opening. Trunk is open. But watch this. Close trunk. Here, let's try close the lift gate. Close lift gate. I don't get that. I don't get why that feature is not supported. I feel like if I'm able to open using the command button, I feel like I should be able to close it with the command button. Now, as an example, in the charging port, I feel like I don't know how different the technology can be, where the trunk is able to open but not close, and the charging port door is able to open and close. That doesn't make sense to me. I feel like that should just be able to be done as well, like in one swift motion. I'm not sure. I feel like the reason why I feel like being able to close the trunk is important is, especially if you're dropping somebody off. Let's say you're dropping off at the airport, or dropping somebody off. They're getting something from the trunk. I don't want to. I don't need. I feel like I should be able to close the trunk without having to jump out in oncoming coming traffic or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's should be a simple fix, or at the very least, should be incorporated somehow in the next updates. Something else that strikes me as bizarre is actually the way that the passenger seat. So this is the passenger seat. There were the passenger seat and the other seat as well in the back. How you need to have this manual seat adjuster doesn't make sense to me. I feel like the technology in this vehicle is advanced enough to where you should not be needing to use this feature. So the only way to move this is you move this up, or the only other way to kind of the other way is to kind of push this back, kind of like in other vehicles, and then you use this button back, or this kind of adjuster back here to move the seat forward and back. I feel like that's a little bit old timey, and especially for a vehicle of this technological advancement, I feel like you should just have those automatic feeders to it. So this is the driver's seat here currently, and I think this is these automatic buttons. This is all I'm asking for. All I'm asking for, being able to do this and this and this in all the seats, but mostly the passenger seat at the very least. So another concern that I have is actually the turning wheel radius of the vehicle. So what I mean by that is how wide I can turn my wheel and how far it can get me. And by that, there's some vehicles that have a wide, turning radius, and others have like a small turning radius. And that's important because you want to be able to kind of use, especially when you're parking in tighter spots, or even when you're parallel parking, especially, you want to be able to make that swift motion in the less turns. You don't want to do an 11-point turn when you're trying to get out of trying to get out of a spot, or trying to get into a spot. So that's just something I feel like, should be addressed. So that's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please hit that like button. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Let your family know, let your friends know, let me know in the comments, questions or just general comments. Let me know down in the comment section, and I'll see you next time.